So this is video number 4 of my Commodore 64 game collection, which I'm packing away for safekeeping to create some more space on the shelf for the more recent games I'm collecting. And as I don't really have time to play these, or at the moment the space to do the setup on the actual Commodore 64, they're going into a cabinet and they're going to be kept somewhere safe, neat and tidy out of the way. You'll be able to see the first 3 videos. Video 1 is about the box and how to store them, which you may or may not find useful. Video 2 was all about the Hit Squad budget label. Last video was all about kicks and encore. And this video will showcase my Codemasters small case collection. Hopefully you'll remember some of these games from gone past. If you were a gamer back in the day, Codemasters is a name you will know, because they were responsible for bringing out some incredibly cheap games that used to flood the market and actually used to outperform some of the bigger box titles. It was not too unusual to see Codemaster titles in the top 10 selling by the bucket load, because they were so cheap. The games were usually retailed for $1.99 to $2.99. What's that now? £3? I don't know. What's the current exchange rate? About $4 a piece, something like that for our guys in America. Absolutely cheap by today's standards. Some of these games have stood the test of time. Very fondly remembered. A couple of game series which came out, which people know about. Other titles they may just come across. I first came across Codemasters games on the Amiga, and they bought their budget range out and sort of found out about the history of them before that, and I played some of their games since then. And yes, very much a case of some were good, some not so good, but that's games, isn't it? Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 32, I think, here altogether. So we'll just take you through. If I know anything about them, I'll tell you about them. If not, at least you can see what they are, and perhaps one day we'll learn together through the power of the internet. So first up, which is Steg the Slug. Amazing title for that one. It says Star Choice on here, $3.99. Now I'm not sure whether they picked that up from a news agent. Remember, we used to go to news agents and buy games for £1 or $1.99, $2.99, like a rack of them. Yeah. This is probably where that label's coming from there. Again, nice, the cute graphics. I don't know anything about this game, I'm afraid, so I'm going to move on to that one. Codemasters was also very well remembered for putting their own blurb on the back of games to make you buy them, by saying things like absolutely brilliant and best game I've ever played, and you need to play this game before you die. Possibly not the last one. And this one here, quotation, certainly one of Codemasters' finest games, Games X. Now I don't remember a magazine called Games X. I could be lying, it could be completely true. I don't know about that one. Now this one's an interesting one. Pro Boxing Simulator, which is also, you probably can't see there because of the really shite quality of this camera, which says there, previously known as Fair Means or Foul. It was a really sort of packaged game, and I remember playing this on the Amiga, so I thought it was quite a fun, simple boxing game, really. But again, going back to the blurb on the back, dodgy refs who let you foul bloodthirsty crowds. This game has all the blood, sweat and tears of the real thing, Tim Miller. Who's Tim Miller? I don't know. I don't remember Tim Miller. But you could do all sorts of things. Proper boxing. You could also do groin kicks, punches, headbutts, things like that when the referee wasn't looking. Because sometimes he wasn't looking, because he'd have a speech bubble coming out of his mouth going zzz, which implies, in cartoon terms, he's asleep. So he can get away with a bit of foul play. It was a simple game. Sold quite a lot, if I remember at the time. Super Tank Simulator. It's called Super Tank. It's actually Super Tank Simulator. Codemasters was synonymous for using the word simulator on their games, even though they were just they weren't really simulated. So yeah, not played that one. I don't really know what that one's about. Oh yeah, this is Wizard Willy. It's got some. It's on the Cartoon Time label, which was a variant of Codemasters, because I did look that up earlier. Again, very cartoony. I'm not sure whether those are the 64 screenshots. I'm guessing they look a bit Amstrad-y to me. You can always tell the Amstrad ones, they've got a lot bolder colour. I would say garish compared to the 64 versions. all on the cartoon title Little Puff, which is about a dragon. Again, similar sort of cutesy platformy type game. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing this one not long ago. This is quite, should we say, politically not correct. Kamikaze, which was, if you remember Choplifter, going back years, where you had to sort of pick up hostages. Kamikaze is the same sort of things where you have to sort of pick up bits and pieces and then able to rescue the hostages and go back, while at the same time shooting. Yeah, pick up dynamite, that's it, and then blow something up, and then you can pick up the hostages. It's a very simple game, but yeah, I don't think something like that would fly nowadays. Fly. Tarzan Goes Ape. I know they got the license for Tarzan because... Oh, there we go, yeah. Another absolutely brilliant Martin Hartley game. I thought that's Marvin Hatley did the music for Laurel and Hardy films now. Yeah, incredible, amazing jungle action, and as a bonus level as well. I'm wondering how they got the rights to Tarzan, because I'm pretty sure that's a license thing at the time. Tarzan is a brand, I'm guessing. Yeah. No, not played that one, so I don't really know. Even more in 4 games I haven't played. This is the Quattro Super Hits compilation, where it's got 4 games on the tape here, which is Super Stuntman, Super Tank, Super Hero, and Super Spy. Wow, everything's super. Your Sinclair gave Super Tank Simulator 82%. They gave Super Stuntman 80%. No other remarks for the other games on there. I have, again, no idea if they're any good at all. Not played that one. You might find that comes out quite a bit here. What a fabulous name for a game. Striker in the Crypts of Trogan. That to me is a very un-Codemaster type game. It looks like it's a sort of a platform variant again. Striker is huge and packed with adventure, Commodore format. So it must be a good one. But yeah, I'd never heard of that one before. So now, Seymour Goes to Hollywood. If you remember, Codemasters, we'll come to a few of those games. There's another character they did which was very, very popular. And having read a little bit about this as well, the variant was that Seymour was created because the game they wanted to put this other character in wasn't quite right, so they created him. He looks basically like this other character who we'll come to. I don't want to spoil the illusion, but you get the idea. And it created a game using this character Seymour. I don't think they ever really established what he was. Just like a white blob with giant hands and feet. But produced a series of games which some of them were actually quite good and quite fun to play. This one's not bad at all. I quite like this one. I think it's the only one I've played, but there's about 5 or 6 others. I've got a compilation elsewhere with the rest of those games on. So yeah, that's a good one. Oh, Vampire. I know nothing about this one. Well, with music by Davey Whittaker. Now, there's a name. Usually when you think sort of Sid music, Sid Chip music for the Commodore 64, I think Martin Galway, Ben Dalglish, Jonathan Dunn. Davey Whittaker's another name that comes up quite a bit. He was very, very good as well. So, always good to see these guys sort of moving on and do different games. They pop up where you would expect them to do so. So, that's a definite bonus on that one. Spike in Transylvania. I'm sure there are many spikes in Transylvania. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it says incredible cartoon action on the back. You can't see on that anyway, but 91%. Zap magazine, 91%. In those days, just out of that works. I don't know if it's still the same now because I've not run any game reviews for years, but or retro game reviews percentages. But yeah, the higher the percentage, the better the game. So 100% would be brilliant. Super Robin Hood. Again, I'm not sure how they licensed this one, but that's a game which, again, with music by Davey Whittaker. Here he is again. Just in the top right-hand corner. Platform type game. Your heroic attempt to rescue the lovely maid Marion. I'm not sure what makes that so super. I'm guessing it's probably it's like simulator. If you whack the word simulator on a game, it sounds a bit better. So if I were making a game called Robin Hood, he doesn't look anything like Robin Hood that you would expect Robin Hood to look like. I expect Robin Hood to look like Errol Flynn. You know, for those of you who don't know who Errol Flynn was, there's a film in 1939 called The Adventures of Robin Hood, which was made in glorious technical colour. And that's how you expect Robin Hood to look, not bare-chested, possibly coming from another game called Barbarian, which I looked at in the last video. Slightly Magic, 94%, Your Sinclair magazine. I remember this one at the time. I think I've played a little bit of it. And there's a Codemasters own quote. I love this. Yeah. A great style game, absolutely brilliant. David Darling, who of course was one of the higher ups in Codemasters, so they're able to put their own sort of blurb on the back of the game. There's not self promotion, is there? But actually, 94%. That did very well. Yeah, Guardian Angel. Now, again, I'm not sure how they got away with that, because that's a actual trademark. You can see. Again, if you remember back to the 80s, and I'm not sure if they're still in existence. Hopefully, they are, and if that's the case, great. I'm not quite sure. But I was thinking about a sort of vigilante group, not say licensed vigilante group or something like that in America, and they sort of come over here in the UK. It was a talking point for about 5 minutes or so. But the phrase sort of came into English when they wear sort of like red berets and whatever, and there was a wrestling character called the Guardian Angel. And then he had to drop them because of some of the various things. But yeah, it looks like it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but I'm not sure how they got away with that either. Maybe they did license it. I don't know. Perhaps somebody knows more about these things than me will tell me. I'm just talking rubbish. Yeah, Bigfoot. Now, of course, yeah, could you license Bigfoot? I don't know. Again, it's another side-scrolling platform game. Awesome Bigfoot Lair. How do they know? Do they know what his normal lair looks like? This is quite appropriate, like Mr. Angry. I'll try and calm down a bit. It's a fast loader, apparently. It says there, fast loader. Which is a blessing in disguise, because in the old days, we should remember about this. You put this tape in, and you go away and make a drink sandwich, possibly have a time for a walk around the block, and come back and find out the game hasn't loaded properly, and you start all over again. They do take that long too. Very playable, fast-moving games. A photojournalist, you must move quickly around the hotel, trying to find the lady. The hotel staff don't like you doing this. Well, there's a surprise. I remember reading something about this not long ago, actually. Yeah, it's sort of like, if you want to sort of slap the Codemasters label onto themselves, it'd be sort of like Paparazzi Simulator, I'm guessing. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure about, again, you talked about Kamikaze. I'm not quite sure of the ethical, Big Nose's American Adventure, with a character with a loincloth and a club. Okay, we might be alright with that one, I think. 80% in Your Sinclair. Again, it's another platform game. Yeah. Now, Professional Ski Simulator. Now, I remember this one. I'm just going to pause this a second. I'm getting blinded by that. There we go. That's a bit better. We'll try and do that. There we go. Sun's moved around. That's what it is. Yeah, Professional Ski Simulator. Now, I remember this one from back in the day. And it seemed to be at the top of the sort of game charts for years. It seemed like it anyway. And it wasn't all that good to play it, I must be honest with you. I remember playing the Amiga version at one point, and it just didn't seem all that fun, and I couldn't quite understand why it had done so well. It wasn't the fact that it was a particularly good game, it was just the fact that a lot of people bought it because it was cheap, and then the word got around it wasn't so bad. So, but again, used to the word simulator, I played it, it's nothing like skiing. Well, it's closest you can get the skiing on the computer anyway. Ooh, yeah, that's about For Soccer Simulator. Now, I've played this one, and this is rotten. This is 4 games, and none of them are particularly good. 11-a-side, 5-a-side, street soccer, and a soccer skills game. None of those games are particularly good. I must be honest with you. I remember playing a game they released for the time of the 1990 World Cup, which had a variant of some of one of the versions on here, which is the skills game, and that was bad enough. But this, I mean, 4 games here for price of absolutely, well, whatever you pay for that, if it was brand new back in the day, it ain't worth it. It was not very good. Don't try and find that one because it's not all that good. Oh, lovely. Another W.H. Smith label, which you probably can't see because of this. There we go. W.H. Smith label there. Turbo the Tortoise, which again is another QT platformer game. I don't know anything about that one. It could be anything. It looks like it's got a time machine on it and a dinosaur in the background. You won't want to put it back in its box until you complete it. Well worth shelling out for. Zap magazine. 6 multi-load mega levels. Well, it sounds like it's worth having a go at, doesn't it? There's a lot of platform games here. It depends what you're going to. Another one which is Murray Mouse Super Cop. Fans of cartoon adventure will simply love Murray Mouse Crash magazine. Super Mafia Mayhem. Do they have mice in the Mafia? I don't know. Actually, it looks like he's a mouse and they're rats, so... now, we'll get to that one. There we go. Right, lovely. And this is the last one, which is... I'm going to do on its own, which is Prince Clumsy, which also came out on the Cartoon Time label. Again, it looks like it's another platform game. Doesn't look too bad, actually. Doesn't look too bad. So those are sort of the generic games I got for Codemasters. Now, as we mentioned before, there was a character who Codemasters are synonymous with, which is our friend Dizzy, who is a egg with gloves and feet. And these games are basically collecting games. You go around picking things up to use for items, to collect coins and all that. Huge amount of games produced for it, and they sold by the absolute bucket load. There's the sort of there aren't many. You got to think that there aren't many characters that Software House has picked up. Bear in mind that when we've looked at things like the Kick label and Hit Squad and other bits we'll come to later, you're using characters is completely different. Those were arcade conversions. There was very little original software in terms of character design or looking to create a series. And Dizzy was probably one of the few that sort of came. We had Jack the Nipper. I know we spoke Jack the Nipper earlier. But a lot of those Hit Squad games were sort of arcade conversions or movie tie-ins. This was an effort to try and sort of produce a character people could relate to, get interested in, get behind. You know, so you got Mario. Look at the Mario series. Look at Sonic. Look at the Sonic series. This is a similar sort of thing, and even now there was a crowdfunder not long ago. I don't know whether they managed to do it, to create a brand new Dizzy game. And there's a Dizzy game which has been made, which never got released, which they sort of put out on the internet as well. It's amazing that you could produce something like this, which would sort of capture the imagination of people. They would go and buy it, and it was character to get behind. We got Fast Food, which I played on the Amiga, and all you do is go around a maze, help Dizzy eat the pizza, chicken and juicy burgers, and then dessert. But watch out for, I think it was ghosts or something. It's not Pac-Man with food. Very, very simple. But it was nicely done. There's some good music on the Amiga on that one. So, but you got a game there, and you just whack Dizzy into it. Same with Quick Snacks as well. It's exactly the same sort of thing. There he is on the front, and again, you're just moving things around the maze. I think it's a bit like Pengo. You remember Pengo, the penguin game, moving ice blocks around, something like that. But not only could you stick you in a game like that, which is very much generic, you also had an amazing range of titles, which, as we said with the first game, sort of go on the variant of collect 'em ups and adventure games. And this is Dizzy Prince of the Oak Folk, and again 93% from Amstrad user, sold by the bucket load. Treasure Island Dizzy, which I mentioned earlier, one of my favourite games, which I managed to pick up on the Amiga, one of the first budget titles I bought. Again, frustrating game because you've only got the one life to do things in, so you know, one hit and you were dead. But you know, sold so many. This one here, we Bubble Dizzy, which I've never played, but I so want to sort of play this very, very soon. And I think it's one of the best Dizzy games, but it's an underwater thing where you've got to jump on bubbles and get your way out of a level. 80%. Fizzy Dizzy. You don't put eggs in water, I think they're fizzy. Spellbound Dizzy. See how many of these titles that keep coming out, and again, budget label. You know, none of this has gone to big budget, so they're selling so many of these at the time that they didn't need to put the big box versions out until much later. Magic Land Dizzy, another one. And again, they sold massive amounts. And finally, the Codemasters, Fantasy World Dizzy. So you got so many. I've got I think I've got one up there somewhere. The big box you could just see up that sign there. There's probably one up there as well. That I've picked up. But you know, one character in the original game, Dizzy, sparks so many different games, the variants. You can actually see from that there was an appeal, and the character appealed to people, and you could put Dizzy in a game and it would sell because on the basis of that name. And that was very, very different to what was going on at the time. You know, when the game started, yes, you had Monty Mole and you had Jet Set Willy, you know, characters people could recognise and relate to. But soon it became more about putting the arcade conversions on the home computers, or about film and TV tie-ins, and then there were really only sort of small labels who were producing stuff like this. I mean, all these games here, not one of those games I've shown you in these 32 are, you know, tie-ins with major films or productions, although there are some very sort of strange licensing issues, maybe, I don't know. Or they're not arcade conversions, they're all original programming. Yes, they might be platformers, yes, they might have the word simulator attached to them, which gives a certain, you know, attraction to it or distraction to it, but they're all original pieces of software. You know, Dizzy had a whole series of games based on that, and for that, you know, at the time, that is, and in a way, it's what's missing a lot in industry now. Everything. When I first started collecting Xbox 360, I wanted to try and move away from the generic shooting games, and because I seem to think that most of the games I could find were basically sort of like first-person shooters, and that's what happened. But this is something completely different. You don't see that nowadays, which is great to see. Right, anyway, that's that for Codemasters. So they'll go straight into the cabinet and be filed away, and then we'll carry on going through the rest of the games, which I think they've got so many different software houses. I'm going to try and lump Mastertronic into one, and then just basically do the rest and see what we can pick up from there and pass them over. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to keep out for some eye out for some more soon. I think that's it now. Yeah, I'm done. We'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.